MLS Cup playoff episode of Sam's Army. No, I am not the typical host, Samuel Army. He is away with Mrs. Army right now. No, I'm kidding. He's elsewhere. I don't know where. My name's Tyler. I'm going to be hosting this podcast, and I'm trying this hosting thing out for the first time in my career. We'll see how it goes. And who better to discuss the MLS Cup playoffs with than with two guys who are not in the MLS Cup playoffs, and it worked out really nicely because they're going to be able to give their non-biased opinions. Tim Parker and Alex Bono joined the show, to elite members of SamFam, obviously card-holding members for several years now. We welcome them onto the show. We'll start with the traditional, Sam, going to ask you an intro question. Let's start with Tim Parker, who, as Alex Bono talked about before we started recording, is quote-unquote a big deal in the tri-state area. And Tim, I hear that you officially might be a New Jersey guy despite your Long Island upbringing. Those are just rumors. It's hearsay. Thoughts, concerns, and comments on that?
Man, I love growing up in Long Island, and I love Long Island. But I went to Long Island yesterday, and I don't think I could ever live there again because the traffic is just so bad. And I have no problem saying that, and I think everyone else from Long Island knows that. So, yeah, I'm a Jersey guy now, and that's just where I'm going to live. But Long Island will have my roots, but I just could not move back there. Never.
Wow. Heard it here first. Bagels in Jersey or Long Island? What do we prefer?
You're going to try to shout out the Bagel Chateau here because
absolutely unofficial official sponsor. That is the home spot. Timmy and I ran into each other at the Bagel Chateau in beautiful Westfield, New Jersey for a solid 20 minutes. But where do we prefer our bagels?
I'm a Long Island bagel guy.
That's fine. That's fine. Listen, as long as you're paying Jersey taxes, you're a Jersey guy to me. Speaking of taxes and the Canadian form, not the Canadian form, as he's going to head back to his missus back in Toronto in a couple of days' time and is packing up his life. Alex Bono of the New England Revolution also joins us. Bones, what are we excited for this offseason besides spending time with the wife who you are separated by the northern border with?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say MLS playoffs, but yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. Looking forward to spend some time with the family. It's nice to have some downtime a little bit, reset the gears, and kind of get the hunger back going in for next season. So, for me, a lot of working out. Us goalkeepers don't get the chance to stay as fit as we'd like to during the season, which is not our forte anyway. So a lot of that, a lot of downtime hanging out with the family and recharging for next year.
Love it. All right, so let's get down to business. A lot of stuff that happened on decision day. Obviously, both of you guys were in the middle of that. Timmy was on the unfortunate side of a 3-1 loss against the Columbus Crew, a beaten-up Columbus Crew side. I'm not taking shots here. I'm just simply, if you were on a different team, I would just give – you're looking at me as if, like, I should be saying anything different than what happened.
We were in the middle of it. We were both eliminated like 2 weeks ago.
I'm saying you were in the middle of decision. You were in the middle of decision day, and your game didn't matter a ton outside of Columbus needing that win to avoid potentially going on the road for that wild card game. Okay, so let's not get too defensive here. I'm just you guys agreed to come on the podcast, and you know what that's going to come with. Meanwhile, Bones was your game was insane. We'll get to Bono's game in a second. We'll get to Bono's game in a second. Timmy, what is up with this Columbus team? Are they capable of like making a little bit of noise? Because I've seen them a couple of times since all these injuries, and I kind of think that they're not fraudulent by any stretch of the imagination, but they're certainly not what they've been in the past.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I don't think that they're fraudulent by any means. I still think they have all of Wilfred Nancy's incredible coaching tactics. I think they have a lot of really good players on that team. I'm not sure they're as lethal or as dominant as they were in past years. And I think that's it's clear in the way the results have gone for them and the way that they're able to control games. I just don't think it's as good as they were once. But I mean, I still think that they have the ability to, play teams into uncomfortable positions, and I think they did that against us on Saturday where we were up 1-0 and then all of a sudden the game turns on its head and it's like these guys start to really find patterns and rhythms that a lot of teams in the league don't play with.
I've always wanted to ask this question to somebody who played against them. Is it the repress that kills you more, or is it like strictly with them with the ball at their feet, or is it a combination of the two?
I think it's a little bit of the combination because their repress is good. It's like the best in the league. And coming from Red Bull, we pride ourselves on that. So when their numbers are better than ours, it's something that we kind of take into account. But when the ball is at their feet, they're so patient. And especially against us as a pressing team, it's like we're trying to find the right triggers to like press them. but they also know that. So then they're trying to like almost draw us out of the press to then cut through. And they do it really, really well. And the one thing I'll say about them is a lot of their players that control the ball in those moments, they're problem solvers. So they're able to see like what we're doing and how we're doing it. And then the next time he gets the ball, he's like, oh, if the 10's going to press me, I'm just going to bounce to the 6 and he can go around the corner. So they're able to problem solve on the field, which is pretty good.
Yeah, fair enough.
When they have, even when they're fully healthy, their center backs aren't the most standard center backs that we've seen, right? Like they barely even play with center backs.
Yeah.
And you've seen it this year come to their detriment a lot because they've conceded a lot of goals that they should not have conceded. But when they have the ball, their ability to kind of draw on the pressure and play around you is so difficult to play against. And for us, whenever I've played against Columbus in the last couple of years, granted the teams that I've been on haven't been great teams in terms of the table, we've always tried to let them we've sit in, let them come to us, and you can really catch them on the counter because of how unorthodox their center backs are, right? Yeah. Like they don't play with true center backs. And I think when you go into playoff time, when you get into these kind of dogfight games you get sometimes in the colder weather, I'm worried for them as to how they'll hold up.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I saw them right when Abu Ali got introduced, and that was still when Diego Rossi was healthy, and they were fine. And especially, obviously Diego is an all-time MLS great, but as soon as he went down and then Abu Ali goes down, and like you're basically running your attack through a Daniel Gazdag who clearly has not fit in, or he's a shadow of himself in terms of what we saw from Philadelphia. And Ibrahim Aliou, God bless him, I think is a really good piece, but he should not be sort of another centerpiece along that front line for a Wilfred Nazi team and for a Columbus Crew side that has aspirations of an Eastern Conference final or bust type of mentality. But I'm with both of you. I still like watching them despite all the injuries that they currently have, and they've been plentiful. Rudy Camacho, who's a Defender of the Year candidate multiple times, has not been available for the entirety of the season. I think a lot of people forget that. And as you said, Bones, like Steven Moreira is basically an extra attacking player along that back. Like he's not a proper center back, and that's why he's the reigning Defender of the Year, because people, including myself, love to sort of give defenders who score goals that sort of acumen as a defender. And that's why Timmy, when he scored back his goals in St. Louis in 2023, that's why people fell in love with him and they named the Pilsner after him, because defenders who score, it's the sexiest thing, part of the game. It's
a good beer, by the way. It's a good beer.
I've had it. It's delicious. Yep.
We caught a flight delay one time after playing St. Louis, and Tim and I were able to share a Parker Pilsner, and it's a good beer.
How vain of him to have his own beer. Wow. Yeah. Didn't order a Guinness or anything. That's crazy. No comment. There he goes. I love it. All right, Bones, let's talk about your game, because this game was downright insane. Chicago, despite making the postseason and saying that as the former voice of the Chicago Fire, still gives me goosebumps because that club has just been snake bitten for the longest time. They still almost found a way to truly Chicago Fire and really do a number on this game, because if they had lost and with the other results that went down, they potentially were going to be on the road for the wild card game. And all they needed was a result of any kind in order to make sure that they were at least going to host this game, which, by the way, is at SeatGeek. It's not at Soldier Field. Just go figure. That stadium cannot come soon enough for that city. It just sort of is what it is.
Oh, my God.
What?
That's terrible.
What, the game being at SeatGeek?
Yes, it's the worst stadium in the league by far.
Whoa.
For sure. No, for sure.
That includes Citi Field, Yankee Stadium.
I'd rather play in baseball stadiums.
It's
worse.
That's not a
thing. It's a running joke of the league. It's the running joke of the league that I say to every DP, and I'm like, oh, okay, you can play in like Paris on a Tuesday, but can you play at SeatGeek on Wednesday?
That's the rainy Wednesday in Stoke of MLS.
Yeah. Well, sure. Son literally had to do it. Son makes his debut at SeatGeek.
Yeah.
Incredible.
No, it's brutal. You know what? Like,
get the fuck out of here that you guys actually come on. You'd rather play at Citi Field and Yankee Stadium.
Yes.
Oh my God.
City over Yankee. Both of them.
Look, it has a special place in your heart, but it's a terrible place.
It has no special place in my heart. I despise it there. I was calling games remotely out of an empty SeatGeek Stadium during COVID when Chicago were on the road. I have nightmares of that place, like genuine PTSD when I go back. But you cannot convince me that a baseball field is better than a grass soccer field in scenic Bridgeview, Illinois. You cannot.
Oh yeah, scenic. You know, the first part is how long it takes you to get there, because they obviously put us in the city.
Yeah.
So first off, the travel getting there is a disaster.
Yep.
And then you get there, and come nightfall, you're lucky if you play them in the peak summer there because it's actually bright out for most of the game. Come nightfall, you can't I'll be standing in goal and a corner kick on my side of the field. You can barely see the ball because the lighting is so atrociously bad.
Yep.
And we were there a few weeks ago. We played in SeatGeek. The surface was atrocious. I mean, I wouldn't even consider it like
So
grass.
I would rather the problem is they have a lot of concerts there, and they put the stand and the speakers and everything, which is not a problem that's strictly limited to SeatGeek. A lot of stadiums do that throughout the league, and you'd be surprised how many sporting directors and front offices push back on that because it does affect the field. But I am shocked to hear both of you say, who obviously have plenty of experience in this league, that you'd rather play it on a baseball field. That's crazy.
Anyway, Tim, are you City or Yankee Stadium guy? Unbiased, just based on game and surface, not based on the fact that you're a Yankees guy.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, that one portion of the Yankee Stadium field that's sodded sucks.
Yeah.
But that little sodded spot is still brand new grass, where SeatGeek is just.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
Well, it's not like Gillette Stadium is some sort of sparkling example of what a soccer field should be. I hear that's playing on concrete.
It's not great. It's not great.
Well,
I'd rather play there than SeatGeek for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Wow. SeatGeek, you're just committing to wind and just crap.
Yeah, that's why they call it the Windy City, baby. All right, let's talk about the game at Gillette and talk about what went down, because one of the crazier games of decision day in terms of obviously how it finished and the goals that came late. It seemed like you guys put on a good performance. It seems like Chicago kind of shit the bed a little bit. Talk to me about what that was like. And I know that, again, you guys don't have anything to play for, but Toronto kicked the living shit out of Orlando City and made them go on the road for this wild card game, and they're going to have to go to SeatGeek. But talk to me about this game a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's a misconception that when teams don't have anything to play for, then it's just kind of like a walk in the park, or you're just kind of out there trying to finish out the season. And when you're at home on that last game, especially, you want to leave a good taste in fans' mouths. You want to make sure that you're finishing the season on a high, so that not only are you leaving a good impression on the fans, you're leaving a good impression on the front office, guys that are making decisions on roster situations and all that kind of stuff. So there was definitely no sit back in the game plan and just kind of see it out. And, early in the game, within a minute, we nicked one off of Davila, who, by the way, is a fantastic player. It's obviously a bit fluky coming off of the way it did. But you take that all day, every day of the week, 1-0, you go up inside of a minute. What's better than that? They did seem a bit out of sync. There was so much at stake for them. And knowing that a win could even bring them outside the play-in round with some other results is hey guys, are you trying to make this happen or what? A lot of miscues, playing out of the back, a lot of passes out of bounds. And so that was surprising for me. And then the second half, they came out and their quality showed through, and they had real opportunities to win the game. I don't think we had a chance on goal until our second goal. Obviously, the first goal. We didn't have another chance on goal until our second goal, late 80s in the game. So I was doing some research on Chicago before. They had only lost 2 games since the middle of July. They're one of the hottest teams in the league coming into the game. And they're one of the hottest teams in the league going into the postseason. So for me, I think they're a really good team. I think they have talent all over the field. I think that Greg really needs to play Gutierrez. He is a stud. He is literally a game changer for them, especially with the injury in the midfield. So I think they have a real shot to obviously get past Orlando, and then potentially give Philly some real problems.
Yeah. Let's talk about the wild card game briefly, because, again, we're recording this on a Tuesday. Wild card games are happening on Wednesday. It's going to be Chicago and Orlando, and then you've got RSL Portland. Portland, again, somehow just finding themselves in a wild card situation at home. And how many games are they going to get their doors blown off of at home late in the season? Think back to the Vancouver game last year. In the wild card situation where they weren't even supposed to be hosting that game because Monster Truck took over BC Place, because that's just what happens in our league sometimes. Chicago, easy enough over Orlando. I feel like Orlando has been one of the worst teams in MLS over the past couple of months, and them sliding into this position, not only into the wild card game, but on the road, I think was unfeasible 3 months ago when they were cooking. Timmy.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would say it would be a completely different script if Orlando got to host this game. I think I would even be leaning towards Orlando, even with how hot Chicago has been and how cold Orlando has been. But part of me, I mean, I still think Chicago will come away with it at home, but it's just part of me still believes in that front three of Orlando to like produce special moments.
They've been so streaky, that front three. And Ojeda's kind of cooled off in the second half of the season for sure. And along with Orlando, Columbus have been one of the coldest teams in the league. And I thought that a play-in game of those two would be pretty funny, with just how, Orlando, it seems like every year they start really well. They get through the summer really well. And everyone's like, oh, this might be Orlando's year to make it happen. And every single year, that late summer, early fall, they just go down the drain.
Yeah.
And for me, I do think Chicago gets it done at home. Even if it were in Orlando, I don't know if I trust Orlando to even find that consistency with how cold they've been. So I think, my money's on Chicago for that one.
I honestly, if Andre Franco was healthy, I would pick Chicago to make a deep run as my Red Bulls of last year, because when you guys talked about like how hot they've been over the past few months. Philip Zinkernagel, if Messi doesn't exist, genuine case for MVP. He is arguably one of the most impactful players in MLS, in my opinion. I think Dreyer still had a better season than him and was quote unquote more important to San Diego than Zinkernagel was. But like, if I had a really difficult time picking Dreyer over Zinkernagel for newcomer of the year, I couldn't not pick Messi as MVP given what he did on a per game basis and just because of who he is. But like, Zinkernagel's been that good. Ugo Kuipers has been that good in this Greg Berhalter system. And the acquisition of Joe Waterman and the switch to the three back and the emergence of Jay Davila, like if Franco stayed healthy, I like a good dark horse bet. And if you're a fan of the juice, I would have sprinkled some shekels on Chicago to potentially get the MLS Cup. And I'm not saying that because I'm a bit of a homer with them. I'm just saying that because Timmy's laughing at me like thinking I'm fucking crazy. But there's always one team that's going to surprise us in MLS Cup, and I feel like it would have been them.
I like your take. I just laughed at if you're a fan of the juice, because everyone that listens has to be a fan of the juice.
Everybody's a fan of the juice. And if you're a longtime listener, you know that when it comes to Ivan Toney's best bets, that my thing has become a ridiculous parlay that like minimum juice is like plus 1,200. Like I don't do parlays that are less than that. But anyway, yeah, everybody's a fan of the juice here. All right, so briefly, RSL Portland. RSL almost pissed it away against St. Louis City, and San Jose almost snuck in. Portland have been dreadful. I think that they're kind of the Orlando City of the West right now in terms of how bad they've been over the past like 6 to 8 weeks. I don't think either one of these teams is going to be formidable against San Diego in that game. If they were to get there, I don't really care who gets through in this game, to be completely honest. But Bones, let's start with you. Who wins on Wednesday night?
I'd like to see Salt Lake do it. I really would. And I think the way that they've been trending, I think they have a better chance to go through. Going to Portland is obviously a tough task. Going to be a ruckus crowd there. It always is. But again, Portland has been so hot and cold all year. They were, again, a team that was kind of in the race for that top 4 in the West at a certain point. Yep. And just kind of have plummeted over the second half of the season, the last third of the season. So I'd like to see Salt Lake go through. For me, again, it's a toss-up, and I don't think either one really stands a chance against San Diego, which we should talk about that Vancouver collapse at some point. But I'll go with Salt Lake.
We're talking about a Vancouver collapse? What collapse? They finished in second. What collapse?
They had a chance to win the conference.
Yeah, they got an early red card.
First time in club history.
They've had a slew of injuries along the back line. Matias Laborda has been a center back along with Ralph Parisot for the past few games. What collapse are we talking about here?
What's one thing you know about FC Dallas's front line?
Musa all day, every day.
They are like one of the paciest front lines without Musa in the entire league. And within the first 10, 15 minutes, we're just going to forget that they exist, and they end up on the counter, and now you're defending. Stupid tackle, red card.
It's MLS on decision day. Parity prevails here. Come on.
You can't say that.
Is this some like
No.
This has got to be some Toronto. This is some Toronto bias that I see coming out here, which I didn't even know was a thing.
I wanted Vancouver to do it. I wanted Vancouver to do it strictly because San Diego's been so good and they've been the story of the West that I just wanted like a different story to come out of the West. And go ahead.
you don't like an expansion team? Like, I know that Timmy and St. Louis already did it, but like, is it boring for you for an expansion team to win a Western Conference regular season championship? Is that not good enough for you?
An ex-Vancouver guy in Tim Parker and an ex-record holder of the only expansion team to win the conference, I would thought for sure that Tim was going for Vancouver here too.
I mean, the thing with me is like Vancouver was like a really, really hot team for a while. And then, yes, they picked up injuries. They signed Mueller. You think that they're going to catch fire again. And they somewhat did. But I do think that at some point it was their conference to lose, even though San Diego has been so hot.
But
like, I thought Vancouver
they didn't have like a 12-point lead over the past several weeks, though. That's been tight. That's been like maybe 4 points max.
But I felt like it was in Vancouver's favor that like, if Vancouver just kept the gas going, San Diego would die out because it's like expansion team, you would think. And I think the Bono's point is like at home, you have this opportunity versus Dallas, who's like clawing their way into the playoffs. And it's like, guys, let's just handle the business. We know exactly how they're going to play.
You need a point. You don't even need a win.
Like,
you need a point. They had all those games in hand. They go to Orlando on the international break and get a big win. And then you go home for the final game of the season. You're playing a team that's well below you in the standings, and you're saying this is our conference to lose for the first time in club history.
Yeah, fair enough. You called it a collapse, though.
Collapse?
Maybe they liked the 2 seed more than the 1 seed.
Come on.
Maybe they did.
Do any coaches or players think like that in terms of like
trying? Yes, 100%. Yes.
I don't think so.
Because there's what's the point of winning the conference if you're not going to win Supporter Shield?
Vibes.
Do you get anything?
Street cred.
No.
Yeah.
Street
bigger bonus.
Like, you came in first in the West one year.
You get a trophy. Bigger bonus.
I guess if you've done it before, it doesn't really matter. Like Timmy's won the West before.
No, you don't get a trophy.
No, you don't get anything.
You don't get a trophy. I don't think there's a bonus.
The only time I won the conference, we also won the Shield, so I didn't know that. Sorry.
Timmy did that too.
That's okay. I've won. I've done it a couple of different ways, but that's okay. But it's just one of those things. So like at that point, you're almost like, and we had this conversation in the past with a coach where it's like, when decision day comes around, maybe you're better off looking at like, oh, would we rather match up as like the 4 versus the 6 or whatever the matchup may be? Like you can actually look at it that way, and you should. If you're a smart coach, it doesn't matter where you come in terms of 1 to 8 if you're not winning Supporter Shield. At that point, you're just trying to set yourself up for matchups wise and how you can get to the final.
But hold on a second. If I'm Vancouver, first of all, I don't think that exists within that locker room and within Jesper Sorensen to say we don't need to win this game. We're okay. Like I like the 7 matchup.
Totally agree.
I like the 7 matchup better than I like the 1, especially with these teams, right? Like if I'm like I asked this question to Nico Esteves before we did the Austin and San Jose game because they were locked into the 6, but whoever was going to finish in the 3 was totally up in the air. And I was just like, you've got Minnesota, Vancouver, and LAFC as your 3 possible opponents. I was like, please tell me that there's part of you that's saying to yourself, hopefully we don't get LAFC in the first round because like that is going to be inherently more difficult to get through into the conference semifinal. He goes, well, I don't care. Gave me a whole bunch of coach speak. Fine, whatever. That's a situation where you're sort of hoping that like you're going to get somebody other than LAFC, even though he wouldn't admit it. This to me didn't seem like that. But to me, I'm interested to hear like that's genuinely something that coaches and players are going to be thinking about in terms of matchups. But I know that some of it's like usually not in your control and you're not going out to tank games unless you're the New York Jets.
Yeah. I mean, you're not looking to tank, but like if you say like, oh, if we win, we have to play this team, which we don't match up well against. Or if we just don't win, then we get to play this other team, which we match up better against. But like, guys, like play the game the right way. But like at the end of the day,
let's not kill ourselves over this result.
So maybe you rotate the squad. Maybe you rest a lot of guys, or you give other guys a chance. Like, I don't think it's the worst thing to do as a coach because I think you're trying to ultimately win the ultimate prize, not win the decision day game that you're already played your whole season to decide that you're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I agree with that. As long as you're not like the 1 seed. Right? Like winning the conference, it means something. It means something. Right?
Yeah,
it means something for the club, it means something for the fans, it means something for the players. And so like if you're locked into the 2 and you're saying, well, you know, we'd rather get the 6 or the 7 seed. Well, maybe we match up better against Austin, like, you know, like you were talking about. okay, well, maybe we're okay with a 3 instead of a 2. But like when you're going for the winning the conference, for me, there's no, like, you go to win the conference.
Yeah. I'm with you, Bones, but according to, Timmy's, doesn't matter.
No, I
Which,
just said maybe Vancouver was, thinking about it.
that they might have been. They very well might have been. I forgot the Canadian rivalry in this chat right now is palpable. It's palpable. All right, let's talk superlatives for a second. MVP, Messi, we can all agree and move on.
Yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
But begrudgingly,
Yeah.
we can move on and just say it and be done with it. Okay, Coach of the Year, Bones.
Bradley Carnell.
Timmy.
Do I have to say Bradley Carnell? I mean, of course.
Of course.
Well, there's only one other option.
Whoa.
There's only one other option.
And who is
There's
it?
no one else.
It's Mikey Veras.
Thank you. Of course.
Yeah.
Don't say don't do that.
For me, it's Bradley Carnell, but that's the only other option.
well,
is Mikey
I did not
yes.
vote for Bradley.
Oh,
Then we all know who you voted for then.
Yeah. Oh,
why?
all right. Come on, man. I understand. I get the Bradley Carnell vibes. Okay, I do. However, that is an established team with a very identifiable system, and it was pretty turnkey for Bradley Carnell to step into that, given his coaching style and the way the Philadelphia Union like to play. There's certain things and certain hirings and certain acquisitions in this league that just like flat out make sense. Take Red Bulls, for instance. When Lewis Morgan signed with Red Bulls, I was like, that is the perfect fit in terms of player, system, the whole thing. Like there are certain things that make sense. Bradley Carnell getting hired by the Philadelphia Union made sense to me, made sense to everybody in the league, operating on a tight budget, the whole thing. Okay. So he steps into this situation. And did anybody expect him to win Supporter Shield? Absolutely not. Did a phenomenal job. Second best to a coach who comes in to a team that you know all too well, Timmy, the uncertainty and the ambiguity that comes with being an expansion team in this league. And especially given the amount of foreign players that they have coming over, and again, I just have such a difficult time understanding how an expansion team starts that well and finishes that well, and basically the entirety of the season, wire to wire, top 2 in the Western Conference. It blows my fucking mind, and I think that to me is more coaching than it is anything else.
Well, can I ask you the same question? Did you vote for Bradley in 2023 then? Or did you vote for Pat Noonan?
No, I voted for Bradley. Get out of here.
Okay, because it's the same exact
We have
story.
receipts. We got to see receipts.
I have to.
Because it's the same exact
it's
story
lost
because
somewhere in the MLS ethos. I voted for Bradley 100,000%.
Yeah. No, because I'm saying the same thing. It's the same. What you did with Mikey is the same exact thing that Brad did. Came in with an expansion team, mostly foreign roster, not a whole lot of Americans, and won the West. So but now I'm just looking at Philly from just a blank statement, and it's like, look, I don't think Philly has any real superstars. I think they have some.
I didn't have
players.
I didn't have a single. That's not true. I had Jacob Glesnes in my best 11.
I think they have some really good players, and I do think that Brad fits like a circle into a circle hole, at the club and at the playing style, everything. But them not making the playoffs last year, and him walking in there and being as dominant as they were and winning Supporter Shield the weekend before, 2 weekends before decision day is it's kind
especially how good the East was this year too. I think
that's
another thing.
Don't get me wrong, I definitely have a little bias towards Bradley Carnell because I played for him and I love him, but I just think that what he was able to do with his 2 full MLS seasons as a head coach,
pretty remarkable,
is insane.
Yeah, I'm with you.
For me, that's the determining factor, is how much more difficult the East was, in my opinion. And they were the most consistent team all year, bar none, for me. And anyone in the East who played against Philly, there's not a time in the year after the first few games where Philly wasn't the favorite in that game. And every single game they went, maybe with the exception of Miami, just because of Miami. But they went into every single game, and they were so much better at doing what they do than everyone else was at doing what they do, including Columbus, the way that they play the game and the way they were able to keep teams off the score sheet. For me, some of that has to do with coaching.
100%. And I'm not taking anything away from what Bradley Carnell did. I just think that taking an expansion team and winning a regular season championship is more difficult than winning a Shield with an already established roster. And I'm not saying that this roster, again, Pep could have come in with this roster, and I think nobody would have predicted them to win the Supporter Shield. So like, I am not taking anything away. I just think that when you take an expansion team and you finish first in your conference, I feel like it's an automatic coach of the year for me. Automatic, regardless of what's going on the other end, unless there's some sort of record-breaking season that you put together and you break the points record. So like, that's where I fall. And I took, just like Bono, I took offense to you saying that it was a collapse from Vancouver. One game they fucking got a bullshit red card. And then, Timmy saying that they're by far and away, there's no other coach that's even close to Bradley Carnell. I just took a little bit of offense to that.
Well, hold on a second. What if Vancouver didn't collapse on decision day and they ended up winning the conference? Does your vote change?
No.
We got him.
Maybe. I don't know. But I will say, I think that a lot of people voting for Jesper Sorensen are factoring in what he did in CONCACAF Champions Cup 2, which is a big no-no for me. It's what you did in MLS. And I think that a lot of people are sort of like bringing it all in together. And I try to just keep it to what you did in league play when I'm voting. And I don't blame people for falling into that trap, because what Vancouver did from late February until Thomas Mueller came in was nothing short of like arguably one of the greatest runs. They blew through every stop sign imaginable that MLS teams are supposed to hit, and hit hard when you think about, and both of you guys know this, playing for teams that made deep runs in CONCACAF Champions Cup, you are supposed to hit a wall. MLS rosters are designed for you to hit a wall. You're not supposed to do that. And they broke every single mold that we've previously seen. So it probably would have changed my vote. You're right. It would have. If not for an epic collapse. Defender of the year. Timmy, let's start with an elite defender himself.
I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think back. Who are the final three? Do we know the final three yet?
No, we don't. It was just based. So I'll give you a couple of options. The center back pair. Do you want me to give you a few? Center back pairings from Philadelphia.
Well, I like Macania. That's who I was going to say.
Okay.
I thought he was incredible when we played against him a couple times. I think he was better than I thought on the ball. Covered really well. And just from guys that I know that are in Philly, they rate him very highly. And I mean, when you give up, I think they gave up 34 goals, maybe
something like that. Yeah, sub 30, sub 38.
Maybe it went up to 30. Yeah, it might have gone up to 37 on decision day. But when you give up less than a goal a game, I mean, you're on the best defensive team in the league. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, for me, it's one of those two. If you take away their 7-0 defeat in Vancouver, you're talking record territory in terms of goals conceded. And whenever you're talking about that record over the course of a season, the backstop of that is your goalkeeper first and foremost. But they've got 3-time goalkeeper of the year Andre Blake, who was injured for almost half the season. And for me, then you look to the center backs where you say, man, those two guys are absolute studs. For me, it's Glesnes. I think he's been doing it for so long on that team, and he's so steady for them that he'd be my pick.
Just to keep in with the theme of what's going on with all these superlatives, I did not vote for either one of those. I voted for Andy Nahar. And
that's very, very good this year.
Very my logic there was, again, I love, I played fullback. Goals and assists, man. I love me a fullback who's getting involved. Like it just gets me going in a way that like very few things in this life can. And not only the fact that he had like, a couple of goals to go along with double-digit assists, but if you look at Nashville's defensive record, like also top 4 or 5 in the league too. So he's part of a defensive unit that was able to bottle things up for the opposition, and he's getting involved. And, again, this is also sort of like a, not comeback player of the year type thing, but he was brought in as as like a backup and as an option and as a depth piece. And he ends up being an all-star. And maybe am I romanticizing him a little bit? Sure. But I just love me, defenders who get involved in the attack. And that's sort of why I picked him. But I think I was grappling with the 2 Philadelphia Union center backs as well as Andy Nahar. And I succumbed to the demons in my brain.
I played with Andy Nahar in DC for a year, and he's a stud.
He's disgusting.
He always was a stud. His biggest question was if he could stay healthy.
Yep.
And he did this year. and you see how talented he is and how good he is for the team when he is healthy. The 1 year in DC, he was just riddled with injuries with his hamstring, couldn't stay healthy, and you saw how talented he was, but you were never able to see it in games because he was never available. And so this year, when he was available for the majority of games for Nashville, you saw how effective he could be, especially for that team. Like they weren't as direct this year, but some of his assists came from some really direct play, some great final passes from him from deeper lying positions, and he was really good for them this year.
Tyler, you know who scored a lot of goals this year from a fullback position? Anthony Marquette.
Oh yeah.
I just looked it up. He had 9 goals.
Dude, I was on the call for almost every single one of them, as you know, and the voice of Minnesota United. Dude, he was unreal this year, and not just the goals, but like he's a proper soccer player. Like I rate him really highly.
He's a good player. Yeah, I played with him in St. Louis, so I was like joking around with him because I think he scored against us when we played him. Then he like just went on a scoring streak, and I was like talking to Zarek Valentine, who's the assistant there, and I was like, what is going on? And he's like, dude, it's one of those things where like we throw the ball in the box and for some reason it like bounces off 3 bodies, then Anthony's just there to just hit it home.
Every time.
Every single time this happens to this guy.
Yeah. Like set piece orgy, Minnesota United this year. Like that article that came out about the Guardian, dude, they literally were basically calling Eric Ramsey, like not in so many words, but the Sean Deitch of MLS. And I said to Ramsey, and I was just like, I bet you didn't think that your first coaching comparison was gonna be to Sean Deitch. He was like, you better not say that on air. I was like, this is gold. Of course I'm saying it. But no, Marcanic was great. And I actually thought about him for that, but like it didn't have
it's not the same comparison. Like Andy Nahar is like a little bit, they almost like feed through him to get to the attack in Nashville, I think.
BJ Callahan literally said, he was like, teams know what we're doing. We're going up the right side. We're trying to get Andy involved. And like, that's who we are. And we just started like asking teams if they can stop it. Like 100%.
For sure.
Goalkeeper of the year. Speaking of the Loons, I voted for Dane St. Clair.
Yeah. That for me, he obviously had a really good year. For me, it's maybe lack of a better option as well. I don't know if anyone had quite that strong of a year.
I didn't feel strongly about anybody. Yeah, I'm with you.
Go ahead, Tim. Give us someone different.
I mean, I don't want to butcher his name, but the guy in Vancouver was good.
Taco Oka.
Yeah, Taco Oka. Like he was good, but kind of the same rhythm you guys are saying. Like there was no one that was really like standing above anyone else for the entire year this year, which is kind of sad. Usually we get a good goalie story.
We've had it. I mean, like there's been, obviously Matt Freese got snubbed a little bit in terms of his recognition last year, but I definitely thought that Christian Kalina deserved it. Year before that, obviously Roman was incredible. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that it's definitely been, we've listen, the goalkeeper problems are spilling over into the U.S. men's national team too. It's not just to our domestic league, but is this a bad time to be a goalkeeper? Or is the goalkeepers union just way down, Bono? What's going on in the world right now?
No, the goalkeepers union is never too far down. We are always positive. We're always looking forward. There are no problems here ever. This is fine. The room's not burning around me, but this is fine.
Okay. Yep. Whatever you say, pal. Whatever you say. Newcomer of the year. I think it's Anders Dreyer by not a long shot. I think Philip Zinkernagel is same tier, but it is Dreyer.
Yeah.
Deal. Okay.
Although honorable mention to Chupo. Without Chupo, I
don't hate that.
I mean, Chupo or Forsberg, we struggle mightily this year. But like Chupo was incredible this year.
Yeah. I
think if we make the playoffs, has way more talk about him than he does right now. I think he scored. I think I want to say he ended up with 15 goals at least.
Yeah.
And I think he provided a lot more than just goals. But yeah, I mean, I think Dreyer and Zinkernagel were both incredible, and Dreyer wins it mightily. But I think Chupo was very, very good this year.
I think there was a moment where I looked at the Golden Boot standings a few weeks ago, and I saw his name on there, and I was like, whoa, like that's pretty quietly a really good season, especially for a first-year guy in the league. Obviously, his resume speaks for itself.
17 goals. He's not really, like, to be fair as well, like his resume speaks for himself in terms of where he's played.
Yes.
But he hasn't really been like a starter anywhere.
Mm-mm.
So like he kind of came and did it and produced as well.
If Messi didn't exist, who would have won MVP for you guys?
Dryer.
Um,
Are we forgetting about a Brazilian in Cincinnati? No, we're not.
No.
No, there was someone else that had like
I
incredible.
think he'd
numbers.
cool off a lot down
Danny
the
Belonga?
stretch.
Why am I not thinking about it off the top of my
Zinkernagel,
head?
I mean, Zinkernagel had like, I think it ended up being 16 and 17 or something crazy like that. But again, my criteria for MVP is what would your team look like without that player? And
Yeah.
I think that San Diego would still, I don't even know if Cincinnati would be a playoff team without Evander.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Borderline.
That's fair. No Surge shot for you?
No. I mean,
I think Cincinnati still makes the playoffs without Evander.
Wild card team, maybe.
I mean, I think they make it just because they do have like, we can't discount like Denke being an absolute monster.
Yeah, but how does he get the ball?
Straight from Miles Robinson.
But no, I mean, I think that they still have enough talent to where they make the playoffs without Evander. I mean, yeah, for sure.
For me, there was a moment where he was like among the front runners, and I think he cooled off a little bit. There was that one stretch where they lost like 3 or 4 in a row, and he cooled off so much on that stretch. And then he was there was like the whole thing where they were wondering if he was like bought in or he wasn't trying or something. And for me, he kind of cooled off down the stretch, and that's why he's not in the conversation for me. Mid-season, he was the front runner.
Yeah,
along with Ojeda, who also cooled off mightily.
Yep.
Yeah, Ojeda's been almost non-existent at this point in time for the past like month. All right, let's talk bracket quickly. I'll run through East and West. Let's start with the East. First round matchups. Philadelphia gets the winner of Chicago and Orlando. Charlotte against NYCFC. That's the 4-5. Miami, Nashville is your 3-6. And then Cincinnati, Columbus, Hell is Real is your 2-7. Bones, I'll start with you. Give me an upset in round 1.
I don't even know if it's an upset really, but New York City for me gets past Charlotte. Charlotte, I think, is a bit smoke and mirrors with that long win streak they had.
Yep.
If you watch those games, they weren't the most convincing wins. They're not the prettiest team to watch on paper, but they were getting it done at the time. New York City for me has been surging toward the end of the season. Obviously, the decision day lost. They lost to Seattle. But for me, they get it done in the first round.
I would say New York City as well. I would also put a watch on the Nashville-Miami game. I think Nashville has a real chance to upset Miami.
You think so? Nashville's been on a slide.
Unless the MLS decides to push Miami, which they probably will. So, yes, you can stamp that as really good.
If there was going to be anybody in this trio to make that sort of comment, I felt like it was going to be me. But Timmy coming out of left field with that, I absolutely love it, and not like completely disagreeing with it on the same level. But that's just me.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, if Messi gets a chance or a penalty, it's going to be called, no doubt.
No, I mean, they're one and the same. It's the same thing. LeBron getting a foul call, going to the hoop. Like, it's no different. It's Justin Jefferson getting a PI call. It's the superstar treatment. That's all that it is. It's not like favoring Miami. It's just simply the team that Messi happens to be on. Is that something that we can all like sort of get behind? I know that those things are the same thing, but it's just superstar treatment.
It's hard to separate that when they're synonymous.
Agreed.
How many other superstars get calls like that? We have other superstars, obviously not Messi level superstars, but around the league we have other superstars. How many guys get treatment like that?
Danny Belonga.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more along the lines of the league has a direct investment in Miami. Like, they need, like, Messi makes part of the TV money. Like, they need Messi. Like, it's almost a battle of interest, like conflict of interest for the MLS to even be doing what they're doing with Messi.
Are we going to have to watch our shoulders after this call? Like,
you guys, I did not poke the bear on this whatsoever. I just want that on the record for three guys who are not necessarily biting the hands that they feed, but at least
I'm just reading what Tyler texted me. Tyler texted me and sent me talking points, and I'm just reading off.
Anybody who knows me knows that I'm not sending out talking points, so I'm poking holes in your alibi immediately. This is why I think the Atlanta upset last year is even more incredible than we give it credit for, because like I'm with you. Like, the league certainly benefits, and it's no mystery that the further Messi goes and the bigger games that he plays on an MLS season pass, the more money that they bring in. Like that's a direct correlation, 100%.
Not anymore. Season pass free for the playoffs.
But you need season pass is not free. If you're an Apple TV Plus customer, then you get MLS season pass. It's not free. So I want to make that distinction.
That's true.
To any of our listeners out there who might think
the
that
add-on is free.
Yeah, the add-on is free. But there are a lot of playoff games on Fox as well. So again, with the linear presence still exists. It's obviously just not as robust as the amount of games and MLS 360 that you're able to get on MLS season pass. A shameless plug for all of my colleagues. All right, let's move on to the Western Conference before one of us gets fired. Portland RSL getting San Diego, Minnesota, Seattle. That is the series that I'm going to be on. Shocker that I get Minnesota. LAFC, Austin, that's your 3-6. Vancouver, Dallas. I'm going to start with you, Timmy, if we're going to potentially get an upset. I don't know if we do in this.
I mean, Seattle is the 5, Minnesota is the 4. I don't know if that's really a big upset, but I like Seattle a lot.
Even with De La Vega coming off in an air cast.
Yes. It's just they find a way every year, and it's almost annoying to a point to where, like, they start off the year, everyone's like, oh, Seattle got it. Do they have it? They need players. And then all of a sudden they catch fire. And it's like every time in the middle of June, they get hot, and then they make a run in the playoffs. And it's just over and over again. And I just think that it's going to happen again where they are going to continue to do well in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see any other matchup in the West with really much of a chance for an upset other than this, if you would call it an upset. Seattle is a knockout tournament team. Like that's what they do. Like they live for the big moment. They live for the high intensity matchups. And like, this is what they do since Tim and I have been in the league. This is who Seattle is. And that core has stayed mainly the same for as long as Tim and I can remember. Like I was saying this the other day, I think maybe the most underappreciated player in MLS since we came in is a guy that got drafted with us. In Christian Roldan. Like for me, he is such a heartbeat of that team. He does all the things that people don't get credit for. And I'm happy that he's getting a shot with the national team right now because I think he deserves it. I think he's a tremendous player. He's been the heartbeat of that team for so long. And this is just what Seattle does. They're the inevitable in the playoffs team for me.
Yeah. I'm with you. And as I come into this series and you're looking at it as a 4-5, again, 4-5 matchups are usually the most fun. It's like an 8-9 in March Madness. Like you just don't know who's going to win. There's not really a favorite. I'm with you. I think Christian Roldan arguably right now is the best story that we have going on the U.S. men's national team, maybe outside of Patrick Agyemang, just in terms of like where he started, where he's gone, being a part of the Greg Berhalter era, going to that World Cup, and then having a revitalization of his career at a different position and underneath a European manager or, a European resume manager, South American manager. I think that he is, I'm with you, Bones, like incredible story. And he's 30 years old. Like this is his last chance in terms of like really getting the most out of him while he still has his legs to be able to like produce that sort of work in the middle of the field. Now, here's the deal with MLS playoffs, because I teed this up properly because I'm going to lead host and that's how I do things. There's going to be something that is going to go against the grain here, and that is going to shock the MLS system somewhere, whether it be in the first round or whether it be in the conference semifinal. So now give me your unreasonable, I'm just going to go with something to go with something. I'll start. Austin beat LAFC in the first round.
That's what I was just going to say. I was going to take Austin.
Yeah.
Damn it.
You can ride with me. Most people do.
I'm not.
Say that there's no way. Say that there's no way.
Flip it. There's no way that Austin beats LAFC. There's no way.
Can't wait. Cannot wait. I'm not going to ride with you, but that was my pick. I'm going to say Columbus beating Cincinnati.
Wow.
Should have gone first. Took mine.
I'll tell you what. I obviously live in Cincinnati now, as most people know. And I play in, a men's league. And like, I just like to get the pulse from people in Cincy in terms of like how they feel about their club. And they're like, God damn it, I can't believe we got Columbus. Like they're a kryptonite. Like people here in Cincinnati are petrified of the Columbus Crew, even without 5 out of their 7 highest paid players being available. Petrified of this team. So not a bad shout. I don't think that that's going to happen. There's no way in the world that Alex Bono.
I want to pick that one. just
guys.
I wanted to pick that one just because it's such a rivalry, and it's one of the best ones we have going in the league today. But with the way Columbus has been and the injuries, and just kind of the feeling coming out of their camp is like just this tense, like not. It's just it feels so negative. It's not like there's a lot of negative press out there about it that I've seen. A lot of people are leaning on the injuries to say that that's why they've been struggling. But there's just feels like this sense of like something's not right here. That's what I'm feeling.
You're saying in Columbus.
In Columbus, yeah.
Oh,
and that's why I don't think that they could do it. But I'm most excited for that matchup just because of the rivalry factor.
But the thing that we like, and I know you both know, but the fact that this is a best of 3 series and a draw gets you to penalties, like that's an insane way. That's an insane way to have.
Also think you guys also have to remember this is Nagby's last go.
You think that
Team of Destiny?
This is a legacy run for
Team of Destiny?
Best player in league. I mean, arguably the best player in league history. Like
most successful. Yes.
Sure. Whatever we want. However you want to frame it. But yes.
He's top 3, not 3.
I mean, his last goal is.
Then Brad Guzan should have made the playoffs if we're going to go by that.
They should have.
They definitely should not have.
He's an MLS lifer. Nagby's a lifer.
He is a lifer. By his own choice, by the way, and that's special.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Talk about a guy who's done it his own way. Turning down the U.S. men's national team after like 12 caps, just being like, I want to spend time with my family. Like, would we have qualified for the World Cup if he was playing for the U.S. men's national team back then? Probably.
Would we have won the World Cup if he was playing for the U.S. men's national team?
Would have made a deeper run than we did in 2018.
Who's to say?
There's my line. No, we would have never absolutely won the World Cup with him. But
such a clippable comment, Timmy. You're really going out here.
Thanks, Tim.
All right. I want to clip. This is something I want to have somebody clip. Early MLS Cup predictions, and I'm going to revisit this after every single game in each round. And so we'll revisit this after game 1 next week. Timmy.
I don't think Philly gets it done. I actually think it could be
Bradley Carnell, Coach of the Year. What do you mean? They should get it done.
I agree. I actually think that I don't know. I could see Nashville making a little bit of noise. Go ahead.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
I don't want to pick a Western team. I want to pick an Eastern team, and I just don't know if Philly gets it done.
I think there's a possibility that the Eastern teams could beat each other up so much that a Western team, whoever comes out of the West, might just feel like they have kind of gotten through it easier than the team that comes out of the East. But we talked about Nagby's last run. What we didn't talk about is Busquets' last run, Jordi Alba last run.
Oh, come on. We don't want that, Bones.
I do not want that. But we are clipping these. Like our it's on the line here. The reputation is on the line. I do not want to pick Miami, but they just dismantled Nashville. And you can say it's decision day or whatever. I don't think they have any trouble getting past Nashville in the first round.
Who was it? Was it you? It was Timmy that said keep a upset watch on Nashville over Miami. I mean, everything out of Timmy's mouth has been anti-Miami, which I feel like is almost a reverse jinx in a way.
And I love it.
We welcome on the show, but
I love it.
Yeah.
I think they get it done. I think they do it. And I think there's some real questionable calls along the way.
They give up so many goals, Bones. You cannot
they score so many goals.
You cannot win MLS Cup this way. You cannot. It is a known fact. You cannot.
I agree.
Clip it.
You cannot win MLS Cup this way. Not like this.
If you had them in a one-off against any other team right now, like how many teams in the East are you?
Chicago could beat them in a one. Chicago would.
They
beat
could.
Them
They
in a
did.
one-off.
They beat the hell out of them. But they got to get past Philly to get there.
I'll tell you what, again, dude. If Andre Franco is healthy, I'm maybe putting like a few grand on MLS Cup for Chicago. I believe that strongly in Greg Berhalter and what they're doing over there.
You skipped me after Tim pulled the Cincinnati Columbus one out. I was going to say if they get past Orlando in the play-in round,
good man.
Like Philly is on upset alert. Philly's on upset alert.
But they have the Coach of the Year. Well, how could they be on upset alert?
No, it's
MLS Cup playoffs, baby. It's the MLS Cup playoffs.
What do you mean supporter? Tell supporter shield curse to Bono.
I don't know what that is.
Thank you.
It is a curse.
Greatest
Yeah,
MLS team greatest team in MLS history in my book, 2017 Toronto FC.
Treble, baby. Canadian Cup.
Tell me differently, Tim.
The following year, I think 2018 Red Bull just beat their record the next year.
Okay, how they do in the playoffs?
And how they do in CONCACAF Champions Cup?
I don't think there's any arguing it. I mean, they won 3 trophies that year. There's no arguing it.
Canadian Championship is Mickey Mouse.
Real trophy. It's a real trophy.
Mickey Mouse.
Man, I scored a goal against Bono that game too.
What kind of goal? Was it off your shin?
Nice one. No, it was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice.
I got to go back and check the receipts. All right, boys. Nice. I told you we're going to keep this to 35 minutes, but because I'm in Sam's seat, it's just impossible. Absolutely not happening. I appreciate you both, and I would love to do this after every round and after every game. I might even call in from St. Lucia on the honeymoon just because I had such a good time. And I might, yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice pick, by the way, St. Lucia.
I'm
nice
pumped.
Pick.
Stoked. Get me to the beaches.
There you go.
Get me to the beaches, gentlemen. I don't have that sort of problem.
Get out of that brutal Cincinnati winter.
It's not that bad. Not
brutal
compared to
Midwest winter.
Chicago or Boston is way worse than Cincinnati. It's mild.
I'm not going to be in Boston. It's going to be worse.
Yeah, you're going to be in Toronto, suffering. Gents, you're the best. I appreciate you. This has been a blast, and we will be back, maybe bigger, better, faster, and stronger, in the words of our boy Sam. And we will talk to you soon.
All right.